Good morning, everybody. So it is about 9 o'clock in the morning on it's February 1st, huh, Becca? It's about 9 o'clock in the morning on February 1st, and we're currently in a hotel. As you might, I'm just laying on the bed, and so I have several things of news, about our life to report. Good news, bad news, and terrible news. So I suppose I'll start with the terrible news. Nano's staring at me for some reason. So I'll start with the terrible news. The terrible news, I don't even want to say it, but the terrible news is that our dog passed away. For those of you who watch my videos, you know that our dog had cancer. She had a big tumor on her side. She's had it for, I don't know, we noticed, I don't know, maybe about a year ago, maybe less than a year ago, maybe several months. And for the longest time, she was fine with it. I mean, it was obviously a big growth on her side, but it didn't seem to be affecting her. Like, she was still like mentally fine. She didn't seem to be in pain. Nothing, like at all. And unfortunately, we never had the money to take her to go get surgery or nothing like that. I mean, it could be it could be up into the thousands of dollars. For surgery for something like that. And, as you guys know, we've been homeless and poor, barely get by. So definitely couldn't afford that. So anyhow, we were just obviously just trying to just keep her as happy and, as pain free as much as possible. Um, make sure she gets the food she likes and treats and all that kind of stuff. It did suck though because she was constantly forced to move around with us from hotel to hotel and sleeping in the car, which we did, and just whatever. So anyhow, so she was fairly okay up until I want to say, I don't know, like 2 or 3 weeks ago, and then she started to experience like some throwing up and diarrhea, and then right away I'm like, okay, I need to try to figure out how to fix that. And so I totally changed the food she was getting, and that cured that. So she stopped having diarrhea and throwing up. She was throwing up really bad, like throwing up bile and stuff. I don't know. I don't know what was. She was having pedigree. She's ate pedigree her whole life. The dog food pedigree, and just I don't know, for some reason it was just affecting her for some I don't know ingredient. So anyhow, I totally radically changed her diet, and she was doing better as far as that goes. And again, she was doing pretty fine, just getting more sluggish or whatever. She just couldn't move as fast, and you could start to tell that it was draining her. And then about like I don't know, like 3 or 4 days before she died, she became really sluggish. Like, there were sometimes like I had to carry her outside so she'd go to the bathroom. I carry her outside and then put her down so she could go to the bathroom. And when she did walk on the leash, it was just really slow. So that was like a few days before her death. And then like 2 days before she died, she just became like just really out of it. Like she couldn't even stand up anymore, like on her own. She, even if I carried her outside to go pee, she couldn't even stand up to go pee anymore, really. So she was just like going pee on herself, and she started to be in pain. Like she would like do like groaning and like howling and stuff, just going in pain, right? So it got really bad, and it's like, okay, and it was towards the end of the month. As we get money on the first of the month. It was the end of the month. We had no money. Every day we're begging for money just to try to get a hotel or food or whatever. So we had no money, right? And obviously we don't have a car, no house, whatever, right? But we didn't want to be in pain anymore, so we started to call like animal control and pet hospitals, right? And so I call animal control, and animal control is like, oh no, we can't come pick her up. It's your dog. You got to bring her in. The only time we come to pick up a dog if it's a stray dog, or if there's a like a rabid dog on the loose or something like that. So they wouldn't help us. And then we called like other animal hospitals and stuff, and it was pretty much the same thing. It's like, oh, you got to bring her down. It's like, we're homeless. We don't even have a car. She can't get on public transportation because she's a dog. We have no way to bring her down to the hospital. And we're telling them, so we're homeless. Is there any way you guys could help? Someone could pick her up. Anything. I even called the sheriff, the local sheriff's office, and I told him the situation. I said, we're homeless. We have this dog. She's dying. She's in pain. I said, is there any way that one of your officers could take her down to these places? Oh no, I'll connect you to the what is it, the animal control. And I'm like, oh my God, they're not going to do nothing. So she transferred me to animal control, talked to them again, and they're like, no, we can't do nothing. Again, if the dog is not like a rabid dog or something like that, they won't come pick her up. So nobody would help us. So, we had our dog dying, writhing in pain. We had no money. We're homeless. No one's willing to pick her up. Nothing. Obviously we can't take her to the hospital. Just nothing. And so the only thing we could do is we just tried to make, we sat there, we comforted her, rubbed her. My girlfriend was like rubbing her ears because she liked that. And my girlfriend was like singing to her and just everything. And just, just trying to make her comfortable as possible. But yeah, so, she got to the point she didn't want to eat anymore. And she was just in so much pain. So I just, like I said, she couldn't even walk anymore. So, I just had her on her bed. And it was like, I actually put her on the hotel bed, but then she would get uncomfortable with that. I would flip her over. She didn't want that. So then I put her on her bed, and I was just, I was just at my wit's end, just trying to figure out how to make her comfortable. And she was just in so much pain. But anyhow, so her final hours, she was just on her bed, but she was like on and off writhing in pain. Like she'd be in really bad pain, and she'd be like, just you could tell stretching out her body just from in pain, and then she would fall asleep for a while, and then I'd rub her and stuff, and just finally the pain got so much, and she just took her last breaths. So that was on the 30th, right, Becca? That was on I was gonna say June. What, I don't even know what month we're in. January 30th. So she died on January 30th, about 4:30 in the evening. And I didn't film any of it, because I'm really against when YouTubers do that when their dog's dying and they film it. I mean, if you film, I've seen YouTubers, they film them in the car on the ride to the vet or whatever. That's fine, but I just was not going to film any part of her dying or being in pain. As much as I want to be a YouTube partner, I will not. I refuse to use anyone's pain or suffering for YouTube views. So I didn't record any of it whatsoever. Nothing. Just let her go, and I want to say in peace, but as peacefully as possible. Just us spending time with her. Again, not recording it, nothing like that. And so so she passed away on January 30th, about 4:30 in the evening. And then, like I said, we don't have any money, so we didn't have money to call for someone to come pick up her body or nothing like that. This was the end of the month. It was the last day. And also we were thinking, let's say we had a little bit of money to call and they come pick her up. We were thinking to ourselves, when a dog dies and they take him to the pound or whatever, they just throw him in the dumpster. That's all they do. They don't get any kind of proper burial or whatever. So anyhow, fortunately, as you guys know, where we're at currently is in the desert. There's a lot of desert around. And so I just carried her deep out into the desert. I picked her up myself, and I just carried her deep out into the desert, and I just laid her to rest out there. My girlfriend, she really didn't like that so much. She wanted some kind of proper burial. I was like, for one, obviously we can't afford it. We can't afford to even take her anywhere. I said, and if we even somehow could get animal control to pick up her body, they're just going to throw her in the dumpster. And I just didn't feel that's proper. I said, for me, it just felt like the more natural thing for her to be out in the wild, And so, I just took her body out there to the desert, and I said I said a prayer for her, and just so it was really hard. It was really hard on both of us, but especially my girlfriend, because my girlfriend's had her for 16 years. Now I've been around her since late 2013, so like a little over 9 years, almost 10 years. Well, like a little over 9 years. And so, she was like family. She was really like family. I mean, honestly, I was closer to her than a lot of people in my family, you know? And anybody who has a dog, you know that. You spend every day with your pet, or cat, dog, whatever. You spend every day with your pet, and you become closer to them than some people in your family that you never see in years. And so, I mean, honestly, as much as I even told my girlfriend this, as much as I love my dad, and as much as I was sad when my dad died, I actually cried more when the dog died than when my dad died. It's not that I didn't love my dad any less. It's just like, I don't know, it just hit me different. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, it hit me really hard too when my dad died. But yeah, for some reason, just punched me in the face. When she died, and she just died so, just in so much pain and stuff. The only thing we're happy about is that at least she died here with us, and not like, we were kind of glad that she didn't go to like a kennel, because she would have just died in like a cold cage. Like I said, they would just threw her body in the dumpster. And so, as far as that, we're happy that she died in her bed with us by her side. And I mean, literally, when she took her last breaths, I was right there. I was literally right there, just talking to her. So yeah, so that was a couple days ago. That's one reason I haven't made videos in the past couple days. It's been really hard. That, and like I said, the end of the month, because we get the money from my son's Social Security and for welfare, like food stamps and stuff, on the first of the month. And so towards the end of the month, we have no money whatsoever, especially because we have to pay for these stupid hotels because we don't have a house or nothing, which is so expensive. So at the end of the month, I mean, we're begging every day, and oh my God, thanks so much to the generosity of people. People have helped so much. It's not just for the hotel, but food, because my family, they helped. Like I told you, my uncle. Oh yeah, I told you my uncle was gonna give me $500. He did that. That helped pay for the hotels, and so the money that we're begging for, we're able to buy food. And then, like you guys know, my son needs a new box of diapers every week, and wipes, and just normal stuff to live. And so I was just so thankful. Matter of fact, the evening that she died, like I said, she died about 4:30, and we needed money. We didn't have any money for. We had the hotel room because, like I said, my uncle helped pay for that. We didn't have any money for food, like no money for food. I think. Oh, he only gave me like $100 at first, and then he was like, okay, I just want to see if make sure it gets into your account, that it works. And he's like, I'll give you the the other 400 later. I was like, okay, so we only had 100, and the hotel was like the majority of that cost, right? So we didn't have like any money for food. Basically the majority of that money went for the hotel, so we didn't have any money for food that evening. So after the dog died, I had to go out and beg that evening. I didn't want to leave. I was like, I wanted to be there with my girlfriend, because she was grieving over a dog. But we had no food. I think we might have needed wipes for my son. And so it's like I had to go out, and it was freezing cold too. It was freezing cold. My dog had just died, and so I was just standing out there, in front of the shopping center, just with my sign, just begging for money. And obviously that's all I could think about was the dog. I was just thinking about it, right? And I was thinking in my head, I was like, I just want to get like $10 just so we could get food and get my son some wipes, and I just want to go in. I was just thinking in my head, I was like, I just don't want to be out here. I just couldn't handle that night. It was so cold, and I was just sad, and I just didn't want to deal with it that day. I just didn't want to, right? So people were passing by, nothing.
In the backpack, you put everything else but this.
In my backpack? Yeah, but I need to wash it. So anyhow, I was out there. I was just like I said, just emotionally messed up and cold and everything. And then some lady comes and has me just $20, $20 just out of the blue. I was like, I literally, I literally just broke down crying. And like when someone gives me money, like I don't normally like look at it to see how much it is. I just say, oh, thank you very much, and I just put it in my pocket, whether it's 5 cents or $1. I don't look at it. And so at first I didn't know whether she handed me like $1 or $5 or nothing like that. And I don't know, for some reason I just happened to glance at it, or I seen it as she was handing it to me, and so I noticed like right away it was a 20. And as she was pulling off, I just like shouted. I was like, "You're so awesome!" I was like, "You're so awesome!" And she heard me, because I was just so messed up, and I just didn't want to be out there. And it was just like a blessing. I was like, so I just like broke down. I was like, "Thank you, God," or I was just like so thankful. I was so thankful. So anyhow, so that was a really really hard night, and then like I said, just every day, we've been begging, just to get money for food. My uncle, like I said, eventually gave me the 400, so now we can afford, for hotels a little bit more. But like I said, we still needed money for food. So anyhow, so we've been kind of doing that, but we made um, we made a decision, and because we're just sitting here, and hotels are so expensive, and like I don't want to I don't want to blow all this money on hotels, any money that I get, right? And so kind of get ahead of myself. Okay, so I got the money from my uncle, right? He I asked him to borrow money, and he just gave me 500. Like I said, 100 first, then he gave me 400 afterwards. He said, I'm just gonna give it to you. So I'm just gonna give you 500, and he said, just basically just focus on getting a job. And he actually wants me to join the military. I'm like, I'm old. I'm 40 years old. He's like, well, you can still join the Navy, like up to 41. So I'm like, okay, well, maybe I will, or I'll try, you know. So anyway, so that's what he said. He's like, I'm gonna give you the money. He said, just I'm just gonna lecture you a little bit. And I said, okay, that's fine. He's like, I just want you to get a job and basically get yourself together, get on your feet. All right, but he gave me the money, right? So I got that, and then, other good news, I got my stimulus money that I've been telling you about. California, they sent out, I forget what it's called, middle class tax refund or something like that. But California residents got like a tax refund check. I don't know exactly what it's for. I think they actually deducted. It's not even, it wasn't even free money. It's like money that I was supposed to get for taxes, but instead of getting it when I filed my taxes, I got it soon. It's weird. Anyhow, so that was another few $100 that I got there. So that's good news. Because we went and checked our mail at the post office, and the post office lady was like, "Oh, hey, you got good news," because she's seen a lot of the letters from the state, and she was like, "Here you go." And so we were so relieved. It's like, okay, we got a little bit more money because we're just trying to survive. That's all we're trying to do is survive. Whether we are in a car or a hotel or wherever, we're just trying to survive. I'm trying to keep my son off the streets. We're just trying to survive. So any money, that's why I said when you guys donate $1 or $100, everything helps because we're just trying to survive. I mean, trying to figure out like I need a car now and just all this kind of stuff. Anyhow, so any money helps. So that was another blessing, right? And then I finally figured out, because like I told you guys, to fill out my taxes, I need my other W-2 form. W-2 is a tax form for those you guys don't know. So anyhow, I had 2 jobs last year. I had got my W-2 from one of the jobs, and I was waiting for the other one, waiting. It wasn't coming in the mail. So they have a way you could go on like their online portal, and like you could download it and print it and all that kind of stuff. I finally, I got in contact with them. I'm like, I can't sign in. I don't have my username. So I went through the rigmarole of that, and I was able to get my W-2. So I had both my W-2s. I was able to file my taxes. So last night, I filed my taxes, which means I'm going to get, for those of you who don't know, that means I get money back because like I'm low income. So I get, basically, when you work, you pay taxes, but if you're really low income, you get some of that money, that tax money back that you paid while you're working back at the end of the year. So, or as if you make like a bunch of money, like say you make, I don't know, $500,000 a year, at the end of the year, sometimes they're like, oh no, you still need to pay more tax. You need to pay enough taxes, right? Well, I'm definitely not in that bracket. So I get money back, right? So that's also great news. That's going to take a few weeks, but it's way, way less than I thought. It's way less than I thought. I thought I was gonna have enough money to maybe get like a used car. That's not gonna be the case. So it's good news that I am gonna eventually get more money in like 3 weeks or whatever. I get my tax refund, which is good. And like I said, I got the stimulus money, and then my uncle let me borrow the I'm not borrow. He let me have $400, and then today is the first, and so my son, he got his Social Security money, and then we get a little bit of money for welfare, for food and stuff like that. Well, actually, the food doesn't come like the third or fourth. So for right now, what's wrong? He doesn't want to drink. He just wants to play with it. My son, he likes to play with bottles, and my girlfriend didn't know if he wants to drink or if he just wants to play with the bottle. And he's coughing, and he won't take a drink of water. So anyhow, so right now we're okay on money. But like I said, the problem is now back to the hotel thing. Last night, or no, not last night. Yesterday, when I went and got this hotel, it was like $90 for one evening, and I'm like, we can't afford this anymore. I don't want to blow all of our money on hotels, and we don't have enough money. We're in this stupid like what do you call it, like a limbo situation where obviously hotels are way too expensive, right? But we also don't have money to rent a place like an apartment or a house, because in order to rent an apartment or a house, there's qualifications. It's like, oh, you need to earn so much income, which I don't have any income, and the money that we get, it's not enough. Like they're like, oh, like say rent is $1,000, right? They're like, oh, you need to earn like 3 times the rent. So say if rent is $1,000, you got to earn $3,000 a month. We don't earn $3,000 a month. We don't earn $2,000 a month, and so we don't make the income requirements to get an apartment or a house, even like a really cheap house. The absolute cheapest that I could find. Oh, the cereal fell down. The absolute cheapest like house I could find, like in the middle of the desert, broke down place, was like, I think it was like $800 a month. And you still got so 800 times 3, like almost $2,500 a month you have to earn, which we don't. So yeah, so we're in this weird limbo situation where we don't earn enough to get a house or apartment, and then obviously we don't want to keep paying for hotels. We have like enough money for food and to survive. And it's like, so we're in this weird limbo state, right? So it's like, oh, I can't keep paying $90 a night for a hotel. Obviously, I don't, like I told you guys, I don't want to beg forever. I want to get a job, and then obviously you get a job. Even if I got hired right now and I started work right now in 5 seconds, it's like, okay, well, it takes time to get money, and then that's not even a lot of money. Usually jobs start you out. Oh, we'll start you out at like, 10, 15 hours a week and whatever, So anyhow. So it's like we're thinking, right? And it's like we came to the conclusion, like, we need to get out of here. California is really expensive, and so our current plan is to move out of state. We don't have anywhere to move yet. We don't have a house. We don't have nothing. We don't even know where we're gonna go. Basically, what we're gonna do today, we're leaving this hotel because we can't afford hotels anymore. Basically, what we're gonna do is we're gonna get on a train and just go. We're like hobos. We're just gonna be like hobos. We're gonna be, just try to find somewhere to go and plop down there wherever it's at, and reestablish. And we gotta. And that's the thing. When we say we did move out of state, as soon as we like officially move, we got to, because Social Security, like for my son, it goes state by state, and so if we move to a new state, it's like we got to notify Social Security. Oh, we moved to a new state, and then the welfare we get is per this county, and so we wouldn't get that anymore, and so we had to take all this in consideration. But for right now, it's like we're not moving; we're just traveling. We're still technically living here, but we're going to travel around to try to figure out where to go. Somewhere at first, we have to find somewhere that has like cheaper hotels, so where we could stay in the meantime till I can get a job. Because if I try to stay here and get a job. It's like just every day that we're here, we're just losing so much money. And so I don't know. I'm kind of rambling at this point. So we don't know. We don't know what we're gonna do. So anyhow, so you guys are gonna go on a journey with us, basically. We don't know where we're going. We don't know what we're doing. We're just, we're following the wind, basically. We're gonna go down. It's another city because the train schedule out here is kind of weird. So we're gonna go down to another city and get on the train and just go and try to find a place because I mean we want to get out of Southern California for one it's super expensive. Matter of fact, I'm gonna tell you guys a secret for anybody who doesn't live in California, wherever you're at. I'm gonna tell you, if you want cheap housing in California, you have two options. You can either A, live in like the super ghetto somewhere, whether I don't know somewhere in Los Angeles, but even Los Angeles is really expensive, even in the ghetto. But somewhere, really like ghetto and dangerous, high crime, just very very bad, dangerous place. You could maybe find cheap housing there sometimes not even there. Sometimes even in the ghetto, housing is still expensive. That's how bad California is, right? But anyhow, so your two options for cheap housing are in the ghetto or in the desert. Deep out in the desert. We're already in the desert. And the housing is still expensive out here. I mean, you have to go like the other city we're in, Barstow. That's the ones who have like 800, 900 month rent, and there's other cities like 29 Palms. There's like a Needles. There's some like super out there desert cities on the eastern half of California that you can maybe find cheaper rent. And so my point is, one, I don't want to live in the ghetto. I don't want to compromise any of our safety, right? That's one. And so I'm not gonna be like, oh, I need cheap housing, so I'm just gonna go live in the ghetto and take a chance of us getting robbed or killed or whatever. I don't want to sacrifice safety for a living, right? The second thing is, I'm tired of living out in the desert. I was born and raised in the desert. I've pretty much been living in the desert for 40 years. 40 years living in the desert. And it gets old. It really gets old. I mean, there's positives living in the desert. There's a lot of negatives too. Okay, and so, and it's a sad state that if you want to find cheap housing in California, that is your only two options. Either you live in the ghetto or you live deep out into the desert. That's the only cheap housing in California. So we don't like those options. So we want to go to a state where it's cheaper, but you don't have to compromise. We don't have to live out in the middle of the desert where there's just nothing out there. Say no schools, no shopping, no nothing. And we don't want to have to live in the ghetto to get cheap housing. We want to go to a state where you could get somewhat cheap housing, but that's in a decent place, and decent weather. And that's the other thing. Like I said, we have a lot of qualms with Southern California. Both of us lived in Southern California basically our whole life. We're both 40-something years old. I'm 40. She's over 40. We're just tired of the desert. We're tired of the traffic. There's traffic everywhere. The prices are just absolutely ridiculous. I mean, really, it costs so much to survive here. It costs so much to survive. And so that's our plan, is to go to another state where things are just a little bit more moderate as far as not so much traffic and people, and the prices are a little bit more moderate, and there are places out there. People tell me in the comments all the time. Somebody even told me to come to the East Coast, and I've thought about it. I hear a lot of good stuff about like Maine and I don't know, New Hampshire. It's it's more up north, so it's a little bit cooler during the summer, and you do get snow. And so we never really get snow here in Southern California. And so yeah, someone said in the comments last night, like, hey man, you should think about coming out to the East Coast. And trust me, for that person who said that, trust me, I've thought about it. It's just so far. It's just, for one, it takes so much money to get out there. Even on the train, it takes just so long, so much money. But I don't know. So maybe eventually go out that way. I don't know. There's 50 states in the United States. Not going to Hawaii because it costs way too much money to get out there, and that's way too expensive. So we're definitely not going to Hawaii. But just somewhere not California, and somewhere not Texas, not Arizona, none of the hot states, no Florida. We're tired of the extreme heat in the summer. Seriously, you get tired of 110, 115 degree temperatures in the summer. After 40 years of dealing with, well over 100 degrees, and it's not just 1 or 2 months. In Southern California and Texas and all that, you're getting, in Arizona, you're getting summer for like 6 months, 7 months, like just a lot of hot days. I mean, it could be December and it's still hitting like 80 something degrees Fahrenheit, you know. So yeah, we're just tired of a lot of stuff in California, and with the dog passing away, and I'm kind of detached from my family, and my family's like out here, and so we just kind of want to get away. But like I said, the question is where? I don't know. We're gonna get on a train today, and so yeah, you guys are gonna go with us. So yeah, that's what's going on. So we're still homeless, but I'm kind of we're still homeless, but I kind of want to turn this channel a little bit to not being so much about homeless, but in the meantime, while we're traveling, to make it more like, like traveling vlogs a little bit. So, that's kind of what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna, I'm trying not to talk about so much. Like I said, I don't like talking about depressing stuff about being homeless and poor or whatever. So I want to transition to something better. And so, maybe a vlog on the train and I don't know. I haven't figured it out yet. I don't know. But anyhow, so yeah, so that's what we're doing. Like I said, we're okay with money. We're definitely. But if just some chance if just you happen to have extra money or whatever, and you want to donate to our travels, I do have a PayPal on my channel page. I'm not asking for money. I'm not asking for money because we're not doing bad. We have good money right now. We have money for food. We have money for hotels. So I'm not asking for money. I'm just saying if you want to donate to our travels, because we're still gonna have to stay in hotels, still got to pay for train and all that kind of stuff. And so if you just want to help out with those costs, just kind of extra stuff, help us pay for the train, and or maybe you were like, hey Matt, here's $10 on PayPal. I want you to eat something from McDonald's. I could, make a vlog about that if someone wants to see that. Just something like that. But yeah, we're definitely not hurting for money right now. The first of the month is usually pretty good. It's usually towards the middle and the end of the month we're bad. So yeah, so I'm not begging for money. I'm not asking for money. We're fine on money. We're fine. But I'm just saying, if you just want to help, pay for some of our travel costs and stuff like that, that would be appreciated if you can. If you don't have money, don't worry about it. It's not a big deal. I'm just saying, if you happen, the PayPal links on my channel page is there. But like I said, if not, for right now we're okay. Because I'll tell you guys when we're doing bad, and I tell you guys when I'm doing good. And so right now we're kind of in the middle of it, because like I said, the dog just passed away, and so that's really bad. But like I said, financially we're doing okay right now. My uncle giving me some money, and then I'm getting my tax money, so we're doing okay. But like I said, we still don't have a car, we still don't have a home, and so if you want to donate towards any of those things, you're like, hey man, here's some money to help you get a car or whatever. Hey, I'll take it. So whatever. But like I said, I'm not asking for money. I'm not begging for money. We're good right now. I just want that to be clear. We're okay on money. So anyhow, long video. I don't know how long this video is. I don't see a timer, but we're gonna leave this hotel in probably like an hour or so. Head down the train and see where we go. See you guys tomorrow.